So I wanted to take a second just to talk about my philosophy of guitar making. I have great respect and admiration for people that make beautifully ornate guitars. Um, the level of craftsmanship to do that is spectacular. I personally, as a guitar player and a guitar owner, have never cared about a rosette or inlay or purfling or a super mirror polished finish. It's just not my thing. And so when I started making guitars, I was like, I don't care about that. Like I said, mad respect for the people that do it. Like I think about like the true masters of this, and they make these beautiful sounding instruments, and that's a whole different skill set almost from making them beautiful. And anyway, more power to them, but it's not my thing. I make my guitars out of the nicest wood that I can find. This is sinker mahogany with a beautiful forest-salvaged Sitka spruce top. The finish on it is shellac, hand applied. It's not a French polish. It's not glossy. It's just enough to bring out some of the color in the wood and protect it. It's minimal though, honestly. You know, the reason that you go to Guitar Center and they've got those shiny glossy guitars isn't because it makes them sound good. It doesn't. It makes them more durable and you know, less prone to cracking, what have you. But it's not my thing. I don't want a glossy polished guitar. I want something that actually looks like wood. And so that's my thoughts on the aesthetics of guitars. If you're looking for that super groovy inlay, fancy polished thing, that's not me. I can refer you to a million guitar makers that do it better than me. The other thing, my philosophy of guitar making is that for the history of guitars, we've been searching all over the globe for these exotic hardwoods and softwoods that are just the most fantastic woods. Brazilian rosewood, I'm not going to argue with you. It's an amazing, amazing tone wood. But you know what? It's not sustainable, and I wouldn't use it now. I mean, I would love to as a luthier, but like as a human on this planet, I just don't want to use those exotic woods that are causing a lot of environmental damage. And so I use primarily domestic wood, primarily forest salvaged top woods. I've got a source in Southeast Alaska that gets these beautiful Sitka spruce tops. They take standing dead trees and windfall trees and mill them for a beautiful tone wood. I try and use, for the backs and sides, the hardwoods, I use a lot of walnut. Recently I've been using a lot of this sinker mahogany. It's beautiful wood and has sort of an acceptable environmental footprint. I made a whole video on that. You can check that out. But I try and use reclaimed, salvaged wood. I make a lot of barnwood guitars here in California. There's a lot of redwood out here, and a lot of these barns, these old barns, 150-year-old barns, were sort of sided with old growth, tight grain redwood. And a lot of times I can get my hands on it, and it makes for beautiful guitars. So that's my theory with wood. I also try and use a lot of Luthier-salvaged wood and guitar parts. The truth is, I use the necks that I use. Well, that one's darn near perfect. I was going to try and find an example. I buy a lot of necks, guitar necks that were rejected from a major guitar manufacturer. I won't say which one. I don't know that it matters, but I think they don't really want the word getting out. But if a guitar neck has a tiny little pinhole knot in it, a major guitar manufacturer isn't going to use that wood. They'll put it in their scrap pile. They'll sell it on the secondary market. Could be turned into firewood at some point if nobody snatches it up. But I've got a couple sources on the internet where I get that stuff. I have a piece here. This is East Indian rosewood. It's a wood that I wouldn't normally buy. You know, it's they say it's responsibly managed now, but it's getting to be more and more rare. And I just don't feel good about someone halfway around the world cutting down a tree so I can make a guitar. It just doesn't sit well with me. But there's a lot of it that's out there. This particular piece, you can see in the grain, there's some like specks in there, and it's not perfect. And so again, I got it on the secondhand market from a major guitar manufacturer that just wouldn't have the time to sand that out or the patience to do it. So that's the other source of wood for me. I use Luthier-salvaged wood just because I would hate to see that stuff go to waste. And as I mentioned, the necks generally are Luthier-salvaged. A lot of the fingerboards I use, you can see this one. If you know your inlaid dots, you can probably tell what manufacturer that's from. That one, as I recall, I just like I had a little glue blemish on it that I had to sand out. Also, the bridges. This looks like a rosewood bridge. I'm not sure where that one came from, but a lot of them that I get are ebony bridges from this major guitar manufacturer. That they might have a little blemish that I've got to sand out, but otherwise they'd go to waste. And so rather than scour the world and have somebody cut down a tree for me so I can make my own bridge, I'll find them with little blemishes and I'll incorporate them into my guitars. So that's essentially it, friends. Just wanted to sort of touch on what I do and why I do it. I made a separate video on why I make square guitars, but wanted to let you know a little bit about the philosophy. Try and keep my environmental footprint as low as possible, as small as possible. But nothing's perfect on any guitar. I'm gonna have some new parts. Like these tuners are brand new. They made them for me. This nut is brand new. I don't use bone nuts, mostly just because I'm a vegetarian and I don't want to be a part of that. But those are a plastic material. They're not perfect, but I do the best I can.